All right, so here we are back on the 1v1 game. KJF going into UK9's turn. So Germany, of course, he took Moscow, not a surprise. Interesting move he made was blitzing 7 tanks to Norway. I'm going to talk a little more on that in just a second and what all that exactly means. Meanwhile, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to get 4 over there, so we're still good on the dead zone. So meanwhile, what that does mean is these units, other than the tank, aren't putting pressure on Persia, and those 7 tanks aren't putting pressure on Persia. Well, I'm not sure where those 3 tanks came from. I don't know why they're there. Did he move them there, or did he forget those? Those might have been there from last turn, and he forgot to move them. Yeah, because he didn't take Karelia. Yeah, I think he must have. I think those were sitting there last turn, and he forgot to move them on up, or maybe he intends to have them there. I don't know. Maybe he wants them there for backup if UK did attack. So the interesting thing here, so he did build another bomber. So he's got 1, 2, 3 bombers and 3 fighters here. The 3 bombers and the 3 fighters can all hit C-Zone 5, they can all hit C-Zone 3, and they can all hit C-Zone 6, and they can all hit C-Zone 8 unless I took both of these, which I would have to take Northwest Europe with 4 and 2, and I don't like those odds. And then the US could come and take that one, of course. So I don't really think that's a legitimate thing. So I need to think about the fact that he's going to have 3 fighters, 3 bombers regardless. And I've got 4, 6 defending units. And normally you say 6 versus 6. This is a KGF. You're like, yeah, let him do it. Go for it. No problem. But this is not a KGF. This is a KJF. And when the Allies lose their Atlantic fleet, it becomes that much harder to get one back. Plus, it opens up that sea lion threat. And that's the key part of this, because I thought about, well, what if I just grab someone, put them here, and just slowed these tanks ever getting back to where they wanted to go? Well, I can't build any units there. Same thing if I took it to 3 instead, same thing. I was thinking, well, here I couldn't land my planes. If we hit here, at least the planes could land on Iceland. But I don't want to risk my boats just for that. So my next thought was, what about if we grab 3 infantry, 1 artillery, land in C-Zone 6, hit these tanks with the 2 planes and those, and what kind of odds that brings, and basically I kill about 2 tanks for him to kill about 3, 4 of my ground units, and then retreat the planes and let him finish them off. So he'd kill 3 infantry and an artillery for me to kill 2 tanks, maybe 3, and then I could build Navy here for the defense of the sea zone. So that's one option, and it actually, it comes to like fairly neutral as far as the IPC value of it comes out to. We're not going to take the 2 though. We're not going to get the 2 out of it. Or I could simply come down to Sea Zone 8, drop an infantry, grab 6 more, a definite positive 6, conserve my units, and build down here. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to take a guaranteed positive 6 rather than a risky, maybe we get good rewards, maybe we don't. And we're just going to let those tanks live and just accept the fact that they're out of position for a turn, or 2 turns really, 1 out, 2 in, 3 down. So that's going to give me more than enough time to build up Persia. So that's the big thing out of all of this, is I sat here and did my calculating, and we're going to be okay. Our Persia plug is going to be wonderful. I do have to keep driving US units this way for right now, but even that's going to start to shift kind of quickly here. So I know there's going to be people saying, attack the coast, attack the Japan coast, attack the China coast, get up here, take this Manchurian. Although I am going to try to attack that as well. I've got this for now, and it's going to, until he blitzes some tanks through, he's not going to be able to get to these until later, and then some of these, not until what, G11, 12 that he'll be taking these with Germany, and these will go back to Japan's hands, so I'm not super worried about that anyways. So, but you think about it, if I can plug him in Persia and I've got my subs dead zoning the Med fleet, then I'm saving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 IPC a turn for the UK. And with this split, Money Islands bid, I need that extra 12 just to fill this factory up. Um, so keeping this money is more important than keeping this money for me right now. Because even this, if I was fighting for all this to hit 14, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I mean, really, it's that entire thing. And how many entry points do you have to defend to hold all that? Versus this 14, I just got to hold one spot and I maintain it. So that's why the Persia plug is so important. That's why Persia is so key in these games, and that's why, if y'all watch the Toadstone game, we had these horrific battles all in the center right here because this is the key to the game more so than the money that's up here. All right, so looking at 5 infantry, 2 artillery, a fighter, and a carrier for up in the Atlantic Sea Zone because he's just going to be adding bombers each turn in all reality. So we need to stay ahead of that. So we're going to go ahead and build accordingly. And we're probably going to start building some U.S. surface fleet if we're able to over here as well, because the U.S. is going to have to help in order to maintain that and eventually help protect Sea Zone 23 especially. Anything useful these guys can do? Not really. Good news is I don't have to take the transports to Sea Zone 34 either. We can just go straight to 35 and chuck. I was worried, if he went all in the Caucasus, I was going to have to transport and use my transports here, but I don't have to use any of these transports into Sea Zone 34. They can just do their shuck right away here. So that's good news. And although we do got to worry about German bombers starting to reach, and particularly this one, these two can reach here, we got our carrier and a destroyer, so we're going to feel comfortable there. And I'm just going to use the 1 right now because I'm not building any other infantry here this turn. It's not worth turning any of these different colors because they're just going to end up being German eventually. If otherwise, I'll let Japan have that little bit of extra money. I think that's it on the combat side. Not a whole lot there. Don't want to forget about him. He can come in there. No dice gods moment. We'll hit him in 1. But I will take. Well, non-combat, at least one of them over here so that they could be the 4th fighter. I might do 3 because then I could always just build another carrier and slide the fighters over that way if need be. Although, you know what, I think I'm just going to do the 1 because I want them in range of threatening back on Caucasus, so we want to start threatening the attack back at him eventually here. Well, that's going to be a long ways. We can go ahead and move all 3 if you want. We're splitting hairs now again, aren't we? I think we're going to move to 3 and then be ready to come back if we need to. Because they can still come right back to Persia or India if something bad happened. Don't want to forget about these guys. Do want to make sure we're fighters before carriers. Good. Actually, all right. I think that's it. We're still waiting for UK 6 turn on the team game. It's coming around. It's on Russia 6 right now, I believe. So we got our 4 units. Again, we've got 8 units to defend versus his 6 planes. He has to leave Norway at some point. We can always just go back and trade it again. These 3 fighters again, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the worst case scenario, with his big buy from taking Moscow, we could drop 2 more carriers and have, or 1 more carrier, excuse me, and have 6 planes sitting there. Otherwise, we've got these guys, these 4 protecting versus these 2 Japan bombers. 1, 2, 3, 4. They don't make it since we got Persia plugged. So it's just the 2 bombers we got to worry about so far. So they're good. We got 3 and 2 versus just the 2 bombers because the fighters 1, 2, 3, they don't make it yet. So our 2 fleets are safe. And we've got them separated as 2 independent working units, which is good so that we don't get defense, turn order issues coming up. So as much as I can, I want to keep my 2 fleets working independently of each other.